The first question for this episode comes from a nail professional living in Florida in the United States. She asked me this: what is a Hindu stone manicure, and are they safe? They look similar to pedicure stones. How are they different, or how are they similar? Well, these so-called Hindu stones have been sold to nail professionals under various names for many years, and they're really nothing new at all. What they are is they're pumice, which is a finely ground lava rock. These manicure stones are very similar to the ones that are used for calluses in nail salons. Now, the lava or the pumice stones, they're used mainly because they're highly aggressive and they remove calluses very quickly. The main difference between the different types of these pumice stones are in their size and the depths of the holes that are found on their surfaces. When they're used on feet, the holes are very large and very deep. But for manicuring purposes, they're usually smaller and very shallow holes. Now, pumice stones have been prohibited in many places, mainly because they're very difficult to clean, especially those that are used for pedicures. These large holes quickly fill up and they easily trap dead tissue. And the holes make the stones very difficult to properly clean, since the skin is hard to get out of these deep crevices. If they can't be properly cleaned, then they sure can't be properly disinfected. I personally do not recommend that these be used on feet. These stones are way too aggressive, and they're often used to remove calluses. And as I've explained in previous episodes, a callus on the foot should only be smooth and never completely removed. Pumice stones used for manicures have very small surface holes, and they're not quite as deep. So these are a lot less likely to trap debris, and therefore they're a lot easier to clean. Now, I've not tested them to determine if they can be properly disinfected. I suspect that they can be disinfected if they're carefully cleaned to remove all visible signs of debris before completely immersing them into a disinfectant, and of course following the directions on the disinfectant packaging. The biggest problem, in my view, is for manicuring is that these are too hard and not flexible. This causes these manicure stones to be way too aggressive and too damaging to the natural nail plate. Now, to make matters worse, they're used to remove the very thin cuticle tissue that's adhering to the very thinnest and softest part of the nail plate. What? Or should I ask, why? To me, this is sort of like using a chainsaw to mow your grass. Well, I could do that, but why would I? To my way of thinking, this is an extreme overkill, and these stones are not the best way to remove cuticle tissue from the nail plate. If too much downward pressure is used with these stones, the nail plate could be seriously damaged and overthin. I recommend using a disposable wooden pusher stick, which is a lot safer than these devices. Metal curettes are also very useful for this purpose, but metal pushers can be a little too sharp and may injure the living skin. Regardless of the implement that's used, I recommend using a soft touch whenever working on the nail plate, and especially near the lunula, where the nail is softer and not fully hardened yet. Nail damage to this area can occur pretty easily, so take appropriate care when you're working around the lunula area.